Hello all, Onigato here for Oni in the Garden. I'm going to start over here with the asparagus. The flower, I don't recognize what it is, but it's very pretty. Very pretty indeed. And the other, miscellaneous plants that I don't really care about. Other than the asparagus. I do like the asparagus and the Indian paintbrush and the beans, which are all doing fantastically. This bed right here, just completely not happening apparently. I think the lilies are coming up in there, but that's about it. Again, because they died off a little bit, but they're regrowing. Over here, the beets, they're looking a little beat down, no pun intended, because I just watered, and in order to prevent spillage, I put the head a little on the close side, but on the finest spray. So they're a little bit on the beat down side. Same with these ones right here. They're actually doing really good. I don't know if they show up very well in the video, but they're actually pretty decent. They're about 3 inches tall now. So, yeah. Okay. Over here, it is still not done. Actually, it's still not finished. I'll show you a backside shot here in a little bit, so show why this isn't actually finished. But I added, this is another 16 bags, 8 of topsoil, 8 of dillo dirt. And it's still not quite as full as I would like, but it's much, much fuller. Across the back from right about here to right about there is another set of bib lettuce. Burpee has a bib lettuce on a paper towel, basically. And you just lay the paper down, and it's got seeds embedded in the paper. So, yeah. This tomato here is doing Burko. It's done really well. When we backfilled, we lifted the tomato up, but we didn't de-root it. None of the roots that were already there came out. One of the reasons being is that tomatoes, if I was to take a collection of dirt and somehow find a way to clamp it around the leaf right here, there would eventually be roots that grow. You can see those little nubs. There we are. Just tiny little nubs, like right there. Those are root nubs, and they will turn into roots. And you can root and propagate a plant doing that. Like, I could, I'm not going to, but I could. This little sucker right here, I could, in theory, break that off, stick it in some dirt, and in a couple of days, with a halfway decent bit of luck, I would actually have a new tomato plant, just cloned out. So we didn't have to move the roots, just had to pull the plant up a little bit. The second plant, which is in the back, is looking quite nice. Not great, but nice. Oh yeah, down here in the corner, planted in some watermelon seeds. They're a little old, but I'm hopeful. This tomato here is looking pretty good. Did the same thing, pulled it up, and then backfilled the dirt underneath it. There's actually a couple of tomatoes there, but the onion is not looking so hot. It's probably not actually meant to be buried like that. There's this tomato back there, and we'll come around to the pepper on the other side. Alright. Lettuces. Romaine arugula, I believe, coming in decently, it looks like. And although it's kind of hard to see them underneath the pumpkin, I do need to do something about that. can't remember exactly what varieties these are, but they're also lettuces. The pumpkin itself is obviously doing quite well. There's like 3 or 4 good-sized plants in there, and I'm starting to see flower buds, or what will be flower buds eventually. And this is the remains of pumpkin number 2. Starting to, ooh, gets a little whiffy sometimes as you're doing that, because obviously you're pulling up, well, opening up a spot with rotten fruit. Okay, let's see. Back here, heritage cucumbers, burpee cucumbers, and big cucumber. So what I want to try to do is I want to try to spread them, well, helps my show, spread them out over the entire thing. They were planted here mainly because I didn't have the whole thing filled in, and I'm not going to retransplant them again. All right. Pumpkin number 3 is starting to cave in on itself, which is just fine. I'll end up doing the same thing, just pulling all the... Ooh, look at you, you little blighter. I know what you've been doing. You've been eating on my potatoes. No snails allowed. Okay. So since I've gone ahead and moved the potatoes a second time, I moved them directly against the edge here because this spot is actually in the shade pretty regularly. Whereas when they were over here for a day or so, there was a period of time right in the middle of the day where they just weren't in the shade. And they were getting cooked. And it was pretty obvious. And I can tell that they're much happier about this whole situation because down here, that new growth, I've even got some new growth. Well, not up here per se, but right up there. So, yeah. This one's still not looking great, but I can see new growth right down there. And I can see some weeds. Need to come out. There we go. Alright, now let me show you the back side, like I said. So you can see the liner is still folded over in places. It's not a lot of fold over, and it's not consistent across the length. Just because when I laid it in, I didn't lay it in square, which I knew. Because, I mean, you can look at this side. That's pretty consistently not square. But I want to keep getting dillo dirt and keep getting dillo dirt and keep getting dillo dirt until the bed is full. Probably, let's see, that distance. Yeah, that distance from the top. Alright, now for the pepper. Again, getting lots and lots of little bumps. I've seen flowers, I just don't see any actual peppers. So that's, whatever. Not greatly happy about the lack of peppers, but you still got some time. Alright. I'm going to come around here and take a look at the blackberry here. Now, it may look rather denuded and like there's a lack of blackberries. And that's kind of true. Because the wife, the kids, and I have all come out here and we've been gathering berries off of it. We've pulled probably just shy of a pound, actually, off the plant at this point. And you can see there's still plenty of berries. Let's see. That cluster, can't tell which cluster's which. There's a bunch of clusters. They're ripening up in stages, which is kind of to be expected. Come out every 2 or 3 days and gather berries. I know for a fact some of the local songbirds are beating us to some of the berries, but so it's not like it's, a critical food crop or anything like that. And there has been progress on the chicken coop. Not a lot of progress on the chicken coop, I'll admit, but there is progress. Those T-posts are going to be the foundation of a proper chicken coop. So, or at least the chicken run. The coop itself will go inside the shed. A little bit further to the right, you should probably be seeing a gigantic brown spot. That brown spot is the result of Roundup glycophosphate, and it means that there's no more living poison ivy back there. It does not mean that there's no more poison ivy, it just means that there's no more living poison ivy. The wife and I need to get back there and clear out the dead stuff before we really let the boys go back there and play. And we really need to tear down the wood pile, which means I need a wood chipper, which means I need to run down to Harbor Freight. But I have other considerations before I do that. Other places where the cash has to go. The apple tree itself is looking pretty good. Got aphid problems, but when don't I have aphid problems on that? So, yeah. Talk to you all later.